Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Wrap Up, special Green Bay football playoff preview show. Packers Bears, big game, as you know. We are live at Natty Oaks. Tommy Wirtz here with you. $5 old fashions, Christmas lights still up in here. It does look awesome. I know Sparky said he was going to copy it. It does look pretty cool. It just looks like a bunch of work. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. Packer Report, Eli Burke joining the Wisconsin Sports Wrap Up. Eli, how are we doing today, my friend?
Doing good. I am looking forward. We are finally here. I feel like this week has dragged on for a while, just in anticipation of this game. So I'm looking forward to the weekend and obviously just getting into Saturday night.
I mean, it's 3 games in 35 days. That's probably why it feels like it drags so far, too. We do this every week, it sounds like. It's the Packers, it's the Bears. Again, the rubber match, winners at home both times for each of these teams. And now they're going down to Soldier Field. Your first vibes, your first reactions and feelings about this Green Bay Packers team heading down to Chicago for Super Wildcard Weekend, Eli?
I think it's the same feeling I had going into the second meeting with the Bears, and just in general, the Packers, I think, are the better team. I mean, they won the first game, controlled it throughout. Obviously, the Bears made it a bit close at the end, but they controlled that game thoroughly in the first half and for a good portion of the second half. The second game, you could argue they controlled that game even more so than the first game. And then obviously things fell apart in those last couple minutes the way they did. But the way this team has looked in 95% of the 2 games combined against the Bears has me feeling pretty confident that they should be able to once again beat the Bears, even in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for it too right now, Eli, but what gives you the confidence in this team right now? Because I feel that there is one piece. I've gone back and forth on this game for the last couple of days now, picking the Bears, picking the Packers. Whenever I find one common denominator of Jordan Love, right? And Jordan Love is the guy that I am a Jordan Love fan. I want Jordan Love to be the next quarterback of the Green Bay Packers for the next decade on this team right now. And that is a guy who, if you feel that way about someone, you have to feel that no matter what, when he is on the field, you have a chance. That's how you felt with the last 2 guys who played quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jordan Love in his era. Eli, it might be an easy but stupid question. This is the biggest game of his career, right?
No doubt. No question. I mean, the last 2 years, there were expectations, but nowhere near as high as this year. And obviously, it's Packers, it's Bears, it's playoff, only 3rd time in the 100-plus year history of these 2 teams. This is a historic game. And especially, with the expectations going into this year, and you can say those expectations changed since Michael Parsons' injury, but they haven't changed enough where another first-round exit would be an acceptable thing for this team. And like you said, Jordan Love is the reason I am as confident in them as I am. I think he is someone that I'm not concerned that he's missed a couple games due to injury. I think he's just always so cool, calm, collected. And I don't see any reason, why that would change going into this game.
Eli Berkovitz, Packer Report, 24/7 Sports, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Wrap Up. You can follow him on Twitter at bookofeli_NFL. Josh Jacobs, another name that continues to pop up for this Packers offense. Everyone I ask, when you say he is the next most important player in this contest after Jordan Love, Eli, do you believe that, or would you go somewhere else to say they are the next most important person in this game if the Packers come out successful tomorrow?
I wish there was someone I could pinpoint on the defense that I could turn to and say he is. In a perfect world, I would say Rashawn Gary, but unfortunately, the way he has disappeared for the last 2.5 months.
Yeah, he stinks. Yeah, you can't say it. Right, I got it.
I can't really say it. So, yes, it is Josh Jacobs. As much as I think Matt LaFleur needs to approach this game the way he approached the Thanksgiving Lions game and a few other games this year where it was essentially, the Pittsburgh game, it was like, Jordan Love, you're winning this game. We are putting it on you. But at the same time, this is the healthiest Josh Jacobs has been in a long time. And I feel like Packer fans have forgotten just how good and important Josh Jacobs is when he is at full strength and you're using him the correct way. So getting him going, I'm not saying he needs to be 20 plus carries, but make sure he touches the ball somewhere between 15 to 20 times. Get him going. Get just the offensive line feeling a little better in blocking in the run game, which obviously they have struggled for a good portion of the season. But no doubt about it, if the Packers win this game, Josh Jacobs will have a big hand in that.
What about the wide receiver room here, Eli? Because I love what we've seen out of Christian Watson and his development. I was all out on him before this. Now I am all in on Christian Watson. I really do feel that I didn't think he could be this good for this team. I'm always cautious of his health, but now I want to see him a part of the long-term plan. However, the wide receiver room banged up. As much as you may or may not like Bo Melton, he's not back for this team for the rest of the year. Dontavian Wicks just ruled out as well. You know the Bears have to be honed in on Watson. Can he still have a big game with that game plan against him, or is someone else going to have to step up in that wide receiver room, Eli?
No, I think Watson can still have a big game. I think going into both matchups, especially obviously the first one, I think they were focusing in on Watson already. He's clearly the team's wide receiver one, and Watson obviously had a huge 2-touchdown performance. And the Bears secondary, while yes, they've been incredible at turning the ball over and taking it away, they're a pretty slow secondary that's not really all that great. And I think Christian Watson should be able to take advantage of that. Even if they want to go and double him, I have all the confidence in the world in Jayden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and call me crazy, but Matthew Golden to make plays when they're called upon. It's just, a matter of calling upon them and giving them the opportunity to make a play. But Jayden Reed is the kind of guy for me, like, if they're going to take away Watson, he's the focal point of the passing game. And he has never let us down. It's just that for some reason we don't use him as much as I think we should.
Right. And Matthew Golden, I don't know, the expectations can't be any lower, right, for a guy going into his first ever postseason game. But they do change a little bit with Melton and with Wicks both not being available. You assume he has to be that number 4 guy heading into the game against Chicago. Let's switch sides. Eli Berkovitz, Packer Report, joining us here on a special Green Bay football playoff preview show for Packers Bears tomorrow on Super Wildcard Weekend. The defensive side, Eli, I don't know where to put any faith on this team right now. I love the linebacking room of, Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. They're athletic freaks. They cover so much ground whenever you're trying to run outside the tackles. But quite frankly, in between the tackles is where the Packers get torched the most in the run game. I don't know if I can point to anyone on the defensive line I have high expectations for since Micah Parsons went out, and Rashawn Gary might as well have gone out 9 weeks ago to this point too. Where do you see the biggest role being played on the defensive side in this contest? I tend to agree that it is the linebacker room, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, the linebackers definitely, but I also think Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, and Javon Bullard. So kind of like the overall safety group. They're going to have to step up. I think the biggest part of the Bears passing game right now is Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. Loveland obviously coming out of the tight end position, so he'll be in the slot. He'll be going off, in line, running routes. And Burden, with Rome Odunze back, I expect Burden to play a decent amount of time in the slot. So Javon Bullard, they need to be on their game, because if we can take them out of the game, I think that's going to be a huge part of it. I know Odunze is back. He's still playing through a stress fracture in his foot. I don't expect him to be at 100%. I'm not overly concerned about him. DJ Moore, solid player, of course. I really think this Bears offense has shifted towards the youth, to the young guys, the rookies, Burden and Loveland. So that's also going to fall, obviously, on Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, at least when it comes to covering Loveland, at least some part of the game. So, again, I wish there was this guy on the line we could turn to, but there's no Wyatt, there's no Parsons. I think it has to be a collective. Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden, they need to come together in the middle, and at the very least, not give up, 6-7 yards of carry. If you could keep it in the 3-yard range, it'd be good.
What about Diggs in this one? What should people be thinking about Trayvon Diggs? He had a pretty solid first game in some limited roles and getting thrown into the fire kind of against Minnesota. Well, now it becomes a massive game in his second game. And I don't know if they're going to bench Carrington Valentine, but they tried to a couple of weeks ago, Eli, and now Trayvon Diggs gets put into this defensive situation. Does he have any impact in this game for you?
I think he's definitely going to see the field. I mean, LaFleur didn't rule out him even starting. I think that would maybe be a little drastic, only because he only has so much experience. And now I'm thinking week 18, they were going that deep into the playbook defensively. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure. Like, yes, Carrington Valentine at times has had issues tackling, no question. He gets a little over aggressive. He doesn't really wrap up. He just throws shoulders at people, and that's not great. But as a cover corner, I have more faith in him than I do in Nixon. So, I mean, if I was benching either of them, it probably would be Nixon. Now, I know the Packers coaching staff loves Keyshawn Nixon more than they've ever loved any player on the team. So that's not going to happen. But I think you go out there with Nixon and Valentine, and if there's any early struggles, you go and you bring in Diggs. But even if there aren't struggles, I would like to see Diggs out there in some packages, because at the end of the day, he does have experience. He's very good ball skill-wise. We have all these dropped interceptions. He's someone that more times than not, if the ball hits him in the hands, he's going to catch it. And this is the kind of game where all it takes is one turnover on either side, and that can be the difference.
Eli, I brought it up on the Mason Crosby show today, and then I think they made a whole topic out of it on Wisconsin Sports Daily. I had brought up a proposition of, if you could pick one of these to happen, which one would you rather have for Green Bay? Would you rather that Green Bay goes the entire game without committing a turnover, or Green Bay is able to commit a turnover against the Chicago Bears team? What say you on the two scenarios?
I think it's got to be the Packers offense does not commit a turnover. I mean, the Bears, that's their whole thing. I think I just saw on Twitter, I think they're 10-1 in games where they've forced a turnover and lost, the 5 other games that they didn't, or the 6 other games they didn't.
I believe the number I saw today, they won 11. They win 11 games. It was 9-0 in games where they forced 2 or more turnovers, and 2 in 6, I guess, in games they did not.
So, that's really what it is. I mean, again, I think this is going to be much like the first 2 games, limited possessions, long drives. You might only end up getting somewhere between 7 to 10 possessions in this game for each team. And in a close game, all it takes is one turnover to be the difference. So that has to be, for me, protect the ball. And even if the Packers defense doesn't force a turnover, we've won a lot of games this year without forcing turnovers. It is just, you got to protect the ball. I mean, last time in the loss, Josh Jacobs fumbling inside the 5-yard line. I mean, that's the game. Even if you don't score a touchdown on that drive, you kick a field goal, you win in that game. They must protect the ball. That is, forget between those 2 scenarios. I think that's the biggest key to this game.
Eli Berkovitz, Packer Report, prediction time here. Chicago Bears hosting the Green Bay Packers tomorrow in the 2 versus 7. How do you feel about Prime? How do you feel about the Prime broadcast? So first, before prediction.
I don't care that it's on Prime. I just care, honestly, that, look, Al Michaels, incredible career, Hall of Famer, amazing. But, it's time. It's time.
Hang it up.
It's over. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're ruining your legacy. It's not like you're, in your 40s. What is he, 82 years old?
He's coming back next year. It's already confirmed. He's coming back next year. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's dude, no one would blame you for retiring. You were great. You can no longer, you just don't have let's be real, even though it was in a Packers loss, Kevin Burkhardt, he is phenomenal at what he does and the energy he brings. And Al Michaels, he'll sit there and watch. I think it was the Puka Nacua touchdown against the Seahawks a few weeks ago on Thursday night. A 60-yard touchdown late in the fourth quarter. And it's just Puka Nacua, catch, touchdown. Nothing. There's just no energy. That bothers me. But I do think the Prime, the all-22 view that they have, one of the options, I think that's pretty cool. So whatever, I think it's not that big of a deal, but I do think, all respect to Al Michaels, but it's time.
It's time. It is time. Your prediction for the final score, final predictions for Packers, Bears tomorrow night.
So I do think weather could be an impact. Right now it has to be pretty nice in Chicago, but I think I saw some forecasts where it could get windy and rainy, a little bit gross. So I'm going to go to a little lower scoring. I'm thinking something around 2016, 2017 Packers. As confident as I am, I don't see either team winning this game, by multiple possessions. It's a division game. It's the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. But I really am as confident as I've been, which is a crazy thing to say after a 4-game losing streak. But I really am confident that this team's going to make up for what happened a few weeks ago.
All right, and one more, because I don't know if I'll talk to you in between then. How would you feel about either of these teams in the next round? Because in all likelihood, it would be the Packers are guaranteed to play the Seattle Seahawks, and the Bears probably playing the Eagles if everything goes to plan here. How would you feel about either of these teams in the divisional round with a victory?
So I don't want to discredit what the Seahawks have done. Obviously, they've earned the 1 seed. They're a great team, but I would much rather play the Seahawks than the Niners or the Rams, which could have been the 1 seeds as well. I just think at the end of the day, it comes down to quarterback, and as good as Sam Darnold has been, he's Sam Darnold, and I think in a big moment he could easily choke. Seahawks defense is great, but I think the Packers, I really think it could be a bigger test to beat the Bears than the Seahawks. And again, it's not to discredit the Seahawks. I just think the Packers, I mean, they had Mike McDonald's number last year. They beat them pretty handily in Seattle last year. I think they could do it again. And then the Bears against the Eagles, I mean, the Bears beat the Eagles and had a very good game against them on Black Friday in Philadelphia, I believe it was. But I think this time around, the Eagles, I mean, the Eagles defense is playing so good right now that I think they'll be able to really bother Caleb Williams, and it'll be close. But I think the Eagles will take it out.
Eli, thank you so much, my man. Make sure you follow him, Eli Berkovitz, on Twitter at bookofeli_NFL. You can check out his work, 24/7 Sports, Packer Report. Appreciate you, my man. Let's go Packers for tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend, sir.
Thanks, man. You too. Go Pack.
There he is, Eli Berkovitz on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Charlie Usen back in here for a couple of minutes real quick before we hit to a break. Charlie, you feel the same that the Packers, this would be tougher going up against the Chicago Bears than it would be for their next matchup afterwards?
I don't think so. I think going up against Seattle is probably a little bit of a scarier proposition than the Chicago Bears at this moment. I get what he's saying about Sam Darnold putting himself and then their offensive coordinator putting him into bad positions, because that's what's happened a lot this season. At the same time, that defense is just ridiculous. And I don't think the Packers defense matches up enough in order to give their offense a shot against that Seattle defense.
All right, Charlie, let's predict the playoffs on the other side here. It is Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up, a special Green Bay football playoff preview show for Packers-Bears tomorrow on Amazon Prime. Live from Natty Oaks out here in Milwaukee. Charlie back in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up Special. Green Bay Football Playoff Preview Show. Rolls right off the tongue, as you can tell. Tommy Words here with you, Charlie Usen, back in the studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are live at Natty Oaks. It smells phenomenal in here, and I don't know how much of this stuff I can eat. I'm going to eat whatever it is.
You're already going off the diet
great.
for the old fashioned, dude. Just have
Dude.
a cheesesteak or something. Get over it.
Oh yeah, no, I can't, dude. I can't. I've been too
Fair
good at
enough.
it,
All right,
and I have to complain. Otherwise,
enough.
I don't stick to it. So I have to have everyone get annoyed with me talking about it, and that's how I stick to it. It sucks, though. It's not fun, but it kind of works, I guess. If you're thinking about it for the new year, try it, sure. But if you hate it, don't do it. Maybe, I don't know. Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up, as we are live at Natty Oaks. Wanted to look at the rest of the NFL playoffs here. Brackets in this don't always look as nice because they got to reseed them every time. As of right now, let's look at the NFC first. We've been talking all about Bears, Packers. Charlie, I assume you're going to rock with your Chicago Bears in this one?
You're assuming wrong, Tommy.
Oh,
I kind of feel like the Packers are going to come out in this one. I know I put $20 on the Bears at Pato, but at the same time, I felt like that was a long shot then when I did it. Still kind of feel like it's a long shot. I think the Packers just will come into this game with a little bit more cohesion with that offense. I think they end up winning this one 24-21.
see, we're the opposite. So I put $20 on the Bears as well, but that's because guess what?
What?
I will pay $20 for the Bears to lose. I have no issue doing that at all over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Or I get a victory and some cash comes my way. I guess
you go,
it's
yeah.
a sort of a win-win in that
Moral
way.
win versus physical win? Yeah.
I don't know, man. I tend to agree with Eli on it's going to be low scoring. And I had picked on Thursday 23-14, I believe, in favor of the Chicago Bears. I can be convinced in 2 minutes into this ball game to switch my mind, though. It could go that fast, depending on whether the Bears go down super easily and score just by running halfback dive on repeat in their Madden playbook, or if the Green Bay Packers are able to maybe get some run game going early in this one. I could also feel a little bit better. Let's look at the other games real quick. Charlie, Rams-Panthers is going to be the first game. That's a 10.5-point line last I saw over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You think the Panthers got any chance in this one?
Listen, the Panthers beat the Rams earlier on in the season. Their offense has kind of found a groove here with Bryce Young and Ted McMillan. No, I have no faith in the Carolina Panthers to take down the LA Rams in this one with Devontae Adams out there.
Sure, yeah, I think Adams didn't play in that Panther game earlier, too. When he plays, they might be the best team in the league.
Yeah.
If he's on the field, they're unreal. Puka and Devontae together. I tend to think the Rams will win that one. Looking ahead, we have Niners and Eagles, different bird. The Eagles are my pick to win the Super Bowl. I just think that they're a team that is going to get hot in the postseason. It feels like a Chiefs year when they're like, oh, the Chiefs aren't that good, and they sneak into the playoffs, and then they just dominate every time they go up against another opponent week in and week out. I'm feeling that way about the Eagles, Charlie.
I can see where you're coming from, and that 49ers defense has looked atrocious. They can't stop anybody. They're worse than both the Packers and Bears at this point in the season. At the same time, that offense is just elite. Along with the LA Rams, I think they can go out there and score with anybody. The Eagles defense, while they're strong up front, I think they still struggle in their secondary. I think the 49ers are going to find a way to win this one.
There's a lot of storylines on the AFC side of things for the Mason Crosby show, specifically looking at, the game happening on Monday night. An old friend, Aaron Rodgers, they will be hosting the Houston Texans. Anyone counting him in to make a little bit of a run in this one, Charlie? Because the Texans defense, Andy Herman said C.J. Stroud's the most important person in this playoffs.
100%. That Houston offense completely hinges on A, whether or not he stays in the game in the first place this season, and B, whether or not he plays well in that game. I think their defense can definitely go out there and shut down a Pittsburgh Steelers offense. But I think that Steelers offense has a shot to be a little bit more volatile than the Houston offense. So if they can find a groove in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if Old Man Rodgers can pull it off.
I would be rooting for it. I'm going to be rooting for it on Monday night as well. Jags, Bills, I am all in on Trevor Lawrence as I was in the beginning of the year. All he has to do is go farther than Justin Herbert, man. That's it. That's all I need from him. And sure enough, they're going to be each going in action this weekend. If you had to pick one of these games, Charlie, who do you like winning in either of the Jags-Bills game or Pats-Chargers game?
So this whole past couple of weeks, I've been really high on the Chargers. I think their defense has a big shot to kind of surprise a lot of people. And I think their offense, as long as their offensive line can hold up for at least 2 quarters of a football game, which is a lot to ask of that group right now, I think Justin Herbert has a shot to at least surprise some people. I like the Chargers in that game over New England. I'm also going to go the lower seed in Bills-Jags as well. You talked about the Eagles being a team that people are sleeping on this season. I think the Bills are a team that people are sleeping on. And I know their defense doesn't have the star power, but I think Josh Allen has a lot riding on his legacy on this season. He's going to give it his all when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, no Mahomes in there. Better go find a path to the Super Bowl in the one time Patrick Mahomes will not be there. Makes sense for sure for Buffalo. But I gotta go the exact opposite. I gotta go Jags. I gotta go Pats. Mitch Nellis, obviously a rooting interest in New England, and. Right, Trevor Lawrence. I'm all in on Trevor Lawrence this year, and it could turn out to be one of the best takes I've ever made on the radio, and it's just not even close to surrounding Wisconsin sports in any way. But Trevor Lawrence, he'll be in action against Josh Allen. Definitely a tougher game in my mind than Drake May going up against the Chargers as well. Packers-Bears, as of right now, looking at the betting odds courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Packers 1.5-point favorites. All of these games with some good interest. It's a pick'em between Bills, Jags. That's exciting. I love that. Other lines throughout this one, 10.5 is the Rams, Panthers. We have Eagles 6-point favorites over San Francisco. Patriots 3.5 over the Chargers, and 3 for the Texans over the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to do it for Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up. Make sure you're tuned in Monday. Special programming announcement, a homecoming you've all been waiting for as a new show gets added to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Yeah, I know. That's a tease. That's what they call that in the business. Thanks to Charlie Usen helping produce the program. Thank you to Natty Oaks for having us out here since noon today. We'll have to do it again soon. I might go see if I can get a big old bowl of chili and an old-fashioned here. Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.